Cheers, mate. The cavalry's here.
That's my line. Let's try that again. Cheers, love. The cavalry's here.
A podcast where we keep watch over Overwatch. This is The Cavalry.
What's up, nerds, and welcome back to The Cavalry, the show in which we keep watch over Overwatch. My name is Slambo, also known as Matt Zorns, and this is episode number 88. I love when a number repeats. I don't know why I'm consistently talking about why I do or don't like numbers. But anyway, we have a lot to talk about on this episode, and we have a special guest. But before I introduce our guest, I have some friends here with me, as always, and welcoming back Tank Zord, also known as Stephen Parrish. What's up, Tank?
Not a whole lot. My fascination with your love of numbers and the numbers hatred for you is growing rapidly. So,
okay. Just in my experience with you is that your hatred tends to grow. I'm just surprised it's now being faced at me and numbers simultaneously.
Just my overall interest and in your lack of liking of math and just numbers in general, just not liking you too much. It's a very fascinating relationship you and numbers have.
Yeah, me and numbers, we have an untold history that I think that one day we might unpack on this podcast, but I'm not sure if the audience is really ready for that, that level of emotional weight on their shoulders. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they can handle it. So one day we may unpack the Slambo and the math story, but for now, you'll just bring it up awkwardly and tell everyone about my torrid past. So thank you very much.
Anytime. So
glad to have you. And we also have your counterpart, the salt to your pepper, the whatever other opposite thing you want to apply, Mel Arena, also known as Melissa Schisler. What's up, Mel?
Hey. I'm glad I have wings, by the way.
Yeah, you kind of have wings, and you also have a nice Mercy hat on today.
Yes.
That's very stylish. Where did you find that? Because I know you don't know where it came from. You must have just found it, I think, right?
Yes, on Amazon. Where I find everything.
Are you
so dangerous?
Are you part of the Illuminati? Are you an Amazon shill? Is that what you're doing right now?
Yes.
I like how you paused,
caught me.
trying to think of something really creative, and you're just like, I'm just going to admit it. I'm just going to take it on the chin here.
Tried to be witty. Didn't work.
Not enough booze in our system. I mean, Dr. Pepper in our system or whatever we're drinking here. So, but I have you two, right? I'm the proverbial stepdad. We have the proverbial children. And I don't really know what our guest is going to be called. I guess we're going to call him affectionately your Uncle BigHundo. Because we have, that's right, folks, BigHundo, a Overwatch player, a YouTuber, and your local, I'm going to call him, he doesn't know I'm going to call him this, but your Overwatch educator. But Hundo, welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, man, I appreciate it.
You, I guess we got a lot of questions for you, so we're going to let you kind of unpack that. But,
sure.
I guess before, tell everybody at home real quick what heroes you play. Just kind of, again, just asking kind of what are your heroes? Who do you like in Overwatch?
For the longest time, Zarya has been my go-to. I feel like she's one of the best tanks. She's kind of like a tank supporter hybrid. I think that's why I enjoy her. I also enjoy Reinhardt. And I played a lot of Mercy, but now I'm playing a lot of Mercy in competitive. I'll feel the heal if I need to. You know what I mean?
I feel you, my man. I feel you. So I know mostly you are a tank player, but I would say you're also a flex player in that sense too. I've seen you do every role I think except DPS in the time we've played together. But I know that if you had to, you would. But you.
I like Reaper. Reaper's fun,
yes.
But sometimes it just it's not always the last pick left, so you can't force it.
That's dang right. We've talked about that on the show. So, anyway, I think we're very excited to have you on. We're going to get your insight on everything as we go through the show. Sometimes when we have a guest on, it's just an interview, but with you, we got a small interview planned here for you, some questions, and then we're just going to kind of go through our show and get your insights on everything. And so I guess it's time for
Prepare for operations.
For our opening discussion, as I said, we're going to get to know BigHundo a little more. And we've got some questions here that we formulated. We've spent a lot of time combing through so many options. We've had so many conference calls with no, we didn't. We didn't do that at all. But the first question is, what got you into gaming? And then tell us how that led to Overwatch. What got you here?
So I was like an only child for a really long time. I have like two brothers now, but for 12 years, only child. So, when my parents were doing their thing, I had, my N64 and my PS1 and I always played video games as a pastime. I actually played COD 4 semi-pro for a little while. Then I transferred over to PC, played a lot of Counter-Strike, played a lot of WoW too. I did WoW Arenas. And then I was really excited for Project Titan. Of course, that got canceled. But when Overwatch was revealed, it felt like I was never let down about Titan being canceled. I thought Overwatch was actually more than I really wanted. And as I got to play it, I really enjoyed the MMO feel in a first-person shooter aspect.
That's awesome. And I think that's cool to hear, for me personally, because I did start to, kind of like you said, I necessarily wasn't an only child, but I was more of a nerdy child. And
Right.
and I was too disappointed. And actually, you put something in my mind that I never really thought of, is that I too was disappointed by Project Titan, but I forgot about that disappointment the moment the announcement came for Overwatch, because I'm realizing
Right.
I forgot how bummed I was about that. Because in essence, like you said, it turned into something far exceeding my expectations, because Project Titan may have turned into what's it called, Destiny, in a way, kind of like that first person MMO, and I don't think I would have enjoyed that as much as this. So
I think what you meant to say is an unhealthy obsession is what it would have turned into.
I mean, if you want to call
Way
it
to
like
call
you see
out
it.
Dad.
Oh, no, I'm speaking for all of us.
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah,
I don't
no,
think
probably.
that was just me.
Whoa.
I think all of it. Yeah, Mel, you got a Mercy hat on your head right now. I'm not really sure you can sit here and deny it. We all have an unhealthy obsession, but that's good. And let me ask you one thing about a follow-up question to that is, what was your favorite game on the N64?
God. Gemini, you remember that game? It had like the giant ant people.
Oh my God. Yeah, I do remember that game.
Yeah. That was my favorite game. That Mr. Glover, dude. Was it called Mr. Glover?
Oh,
What was it called? You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
You were a sentient glove that just roamed around.
It was
yes,
the hamburger helper's cousin, right? Okay, bad joke. I'm sorry.
It was the glove from Chef Boyardee. I just can't think of his name.
Yeah, I wish I could remember. It was really fun.
I'm Googling it. I'll be right back.
Honestly, last week we did say we're not the Glass Unicorn podcast, but I'm willing to discuss if we can pivot to the Mr. Glover podcast. I don't even know if that's the title either, but I agree.
I don't either.
That we could probably unpack that for weeks on end, right? No?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't even remember the
Same
story. I
amount of
just remember
viewers.
crazy fun.
It
Crazy
was.
fun.
It was. Oh, well. All right. Well, I mean, I'm definitely glad to hear that. And I guess for our second question, Tank, do you want to ask this question number 2?
Yes. Real quick, though, believe it or not, the game was called Glover.
Okay.
There it is.
So no Mr., just Glover.
Mister.
You did
Very
pretty
formal, very casual guy.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
straightforward. The cover of the game is very misleading to what you actually do in the game. But anyway, on to the second question. You've been a GM player for a while, before Season 6.
Mm-hmm.
What are you changing about your approach and mindset as you push for top 500?
All right, so as you know, like I said before, I played a lot of Zarya, and my mentality with Zarya was always like, the reason I lose games is because I'm always 100 charge, and I'm not like, I'm not blowing myself up or whatever. I'm really high charge all the time. Is that I was not getting follow up, right? Like I would blame people and be like, it's their fault. They didn't follow up on my grab. I killed 4 people during that fight. But as I watch more professional players, I watch streams, I watch people that are even better than me, I came to realize that it is my fault for not making sure that these people are ready to follow up. And that kind of translates more into tank play overall. Like, yes, you can make plays. Yes, you can kill people. Yes, you can disrupt. But the thing about it is as a tank, you're there to create space. So if you're not creating space, excuse me, or you're not making sure your team is in the right spot to follow up on you, you're just as much at fault. So I am really trying to make sure that I carry myself, because in my mind, if you can't carry yourself out of the rank you're in, you don't deserve to be the next rank necessarily. And that goes for all roles. But I'm being very critical of my actions and trying to keep a positive mental attitude.
How much do you think the positive mental attitude, I guess, how important is that versus just pure mechanics, or is it a combination of the two? I guess that's it's kind of a tough question, but.
Well, I mean, it is definitely a combination of the two. There's no getting around it, but especially in Overwatch as a team game, team morale is so important. So like you getting upset, and I've had it happen like literally like I said, I'll hit a fat grab and then I'll kill 3 people out of the grab and we still lose the fight. And I would get mad and I'd get mad at the team, and then the team starts to tilt. And then that makes my next grab not as good, and which makes our healers tilt, and it's just like this vicious cycle. So mechanics can only take you so far. You can't just force it. Like you can't be a toxic player. You can't be a critical player. So it's definitely a combination of the two. They're equally important, I think. Yeah. But it is easier to carry yourself as DPS. I will say that much.
Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to hear, is that I believe too it is equally, and that's I know that sounds intense. People are saying, well, if I have great mechanics, that should weigh out overall. But I guess just in my time of playing games over the years, no matter what the game, a MOBA, first-person shooter, MMO, whatever it is the toxicity. It just changes things, just like friendships, and when you're in a room with people. Absolutely. And one person's kind of gets uncomfortable or gets a little loud, it just makes the whole vibe is bad for the rest of the night. It kind of puts a stain on it. And so when we talked a lot on this show about just kind of behavioral sciences and thinking a different approach to the game. And it's good because I think you're the highest rated person we've had on the show, because I know you're GM at least on one of your accounts right now, and you have been in the past.
Both now.
Yeah, so both now. And so that's why I know that it's good to hear that consistent message. So that's awesome. Now, Mel.
I will say, though.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I will say, though, that as you get up in rank, people have this idea that GM is like this promised land, and it's not. You do get those players that are very mechanically sound but have terrible attitudes. So teamwork is, obviously important. Learning to deal with sour people is also really important.
So you're saying is that teamwork makes the dream work.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wow, that was insightful.
I made that up, guys. I've never heard that. That's just something that came off the dome. I'm just showing you my mental agility. Yeah, we should brand that. We're good.
You're
that's
really
not
filling
true.
that stepdad role.
No, that's not true, because I have that tattooed on my lower back.
Oh, wow.
And with that, we should definitely move on to question number 3, Ballerina.
All right. Okay. What is one change you think the development team could make that would improve Overwatch for everyone?
All right, so this is super controversial, and it's not in the game, and the developers have spoke out against it, but they also speak out about a lot of things that they end up doing anyway.
Like deathmatch.
Like deathmatch, like D.Va not being, a fat assassin,
limit,
essentially.
Whatever. Yeah, we got a list.
Like one-shot mechanics not being in the game. Don't even get me started on that one. But so I think that statistics are not readily available. And if you're watching like contenders or something, sometimes somebody will make a play, and during their downtime, they'll pull up a little scorecard, and they'll be like 60% of the team's killing blows or whatever. So like that's super important to be able to see those statistics for yourself, and also be able to see them for your team. You get some very generalized statistics depending on the character that you're playing. Like you might get like damage blocked, killing blows, right? Like elims damage, of course, you get all those. But being able to have more information, especially in Overwatch when there's so many moving parts, is really, really essential to understanding where you're messing up. Because if you can break it down and you could say, okay, I was playing Zenyatta, there was a guy on the other team playing Zenyatta, but he has 60% kill participation with Discord, whereas I only had 25. Like, obviously, you're discording the wrong targets. The targets you're discording aren't dying. So, like, that information would be a godsend, essentially, for players that are actually trying to improve and have very methodical minds. But they're so worried about toxicity springing up from that. And I can understand why, but it's not going to make it any worse than it is currently, in my mind anyway.
I love that you said that because I agree with one thing is that a while ago there was a dev update where they state that exact thing, and they said, I want to say the way they worded it, but he was saying that, stats aren't everything, right? If a tracer goes in and dives and drops her pulse bomb, but it requires the Reinhardt to turn around, and then that opens up the Widow shot to kill the Mercy, and that's the reason you took the point. That's not going to show up on a stat sheet. And I remember hearing that and going, you know what? That's a good point. I can see that. But you know what I'm kind of thinking now is that they need to trust their community to make that distinction, right? Give us the stats and let us be able to still go, okay, that tracer play was worth it, right? You might not have all the goals in this game, but that was worth it. But we also need the other side of the coin is when that tracer is not making a changing play that changes the actual map presence. She's not making a change that changed the flow of a team fight, and she's not getting any damage done. She's not getting any, her accuracy's low. Like, those are things I think we need to be able to see, and we have to trust ourselves to make a distinction, because right now we're flying blind, and we're just accusing everyone else of everything. And we're assuming a lot.
It's always everybody else's fault.
It's always the healer's fault, actually.
Yes,
turns
Mercy
out.
usually.
Mercy exclusively. If there is a Mercy on your team, it is her fault no one's dying, I promise you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And why you don't res them or how you die. That's a big one. How'd you die? What do you mean, how did I die? Like,
I got scattered. It's like, oh, you should have dodged it. It's like, yeah, okay, thank you.
What were you saying, Tank?
So
on it.
I have kind of a follow-up question.
Hit me.
And I'm not sure how true this is the higher you get, but at least in my opinion, I feel like accuracy and mechanics can only take you so far before you really have to know how the positioning of both your team and the enemy team is. Like, you can be as accurate as you want to, but if you're in the wrong position with Soldier, you're just going to get killed and your team never progresses. So how are these numbers effectively going to help people push when, at least in my eyes, positioning is paramount? That's what separates good players and bad players. Because I personally could have 10% less accuracy on Soldier, but if my positioning was better all the time, then overall I'm going to be putting out more damage. It's almost impossible to put those. Exactly. So how, like, I understand that the numbers are going to be a good thing overall. I'm not trying to make it sound like I don't want that, but from where I'm at now, I don't see how that's going to have a big impact on players like myself.
So let me give you an example. So like Reaper and Tracer, right? Like Reaper and Tracer are famous as a cleanup crew. That is their role in the team, right? Like they're the ones that follow up on chip damage to kill people. So let's say you're playing Reaper, right? And you have really, really low killing blows or KBs. What that's saying essentially is you are not positioning yourself correctly in the fight to finish people, right? Like that information statistically can be applied. Like, okay, I'm not doing my job. Same thing as a sniper. Like you're supposed to be getting killing blows. So if you just have chip damage, if you just have kill participation, you don't have killing blows or you don't have headshots, that is going to translate into, okay, like I know that I'm not hitting the shots. Why am I not hitting these shots? Is it because my mechanics are low or is it because my positioning is low? And if you look and your weapon accuracy is at like 70% and you have like a 15% headshot critical accuracy, like obviously you're hitting your shots, you're doing what you need to do. You need to stand in a different spot so that you can get kills. Now that doesn't apply to every single character because there's not these metrics that apply to a lot of the DPS players or the tanks for that matter. So I don't know, man. Like, you know, I've seen Reinhardt's with like 50k damage blocked average, like it down in Diamond, and it's crazy. 50k, like every game. Are you kidding me? But what that's saying is you're taking too much damage on your shield. You're just shielding whenever you can, and you're doing the wrong thing. So that can be applied. But I definitely see your point. You know, numbers, and like Slambo said, numbers don't mean anything. Like if you save your team from a diva bomb with a May wall, the game will never understand that you did that. It just knows that no one died. But I think more to the point is whenever someone has this mindset of I want to improve, I'm going to do what I need to improve, then the numbers definitely become more valuable as is someone that's just playing casually and just wants to rank up, but really doesn't want to put in that extra homework. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I'd say that apply. And it definitely does, as you said, like as you go up into the ranks, it does get pretty crazy how some teams position, like the speed boost on people, like they will run you over if you're in the wrong spot. It is crazy how fast teams will collapse on you if you make a mistake.
Yeah,
I've seen it in competitive play, so it doesn't surprise me that that's just how it gets the higher you climb.
Yeah. People don't make mistakes essentially, and people realize that you have weaknesses very, very quickly. That is paramount as you go up.
yeah, and I think just to kind of put a capstone on it too, it's just, to me, it seems like mechanics are mechanics, and that means that aiming mechanics are different from positioning mechanics, but they're both still a part of like the subgroup of mechanics. And you can get your aiming down, and you can know kind of where to start a fight. But I think just kind of your point back, Tank, is that you can master your aiming mechanics, but you still have a long way to go with positioning mechanics, and that just changes for every individual. Everyone's kind of at a different place with that. I know that something that you told me the other day, BigHundo, was you're like, oh, I don't want to play too many games, I'll get bad habits. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a walking bad habit because I have such good aiming mechanics, and I'm so good at like Roadhog, who I can just, literally run around and do whatever I want and get 5 kills and win the point for my team. Where the moment I get with players that are 3,900 Grandmaster level, I'm completely punished, like you said. So it's like those bad habits I get from Diamond and stuff.
Yeah.
That you saying that helps me realize they're bad habits. Like, it's kind of like, oh, these were just my habits, but you're reminding me these are bad. So it was good advice.
Just because you don't get punished for something at a certain rank doesn't make it a mistake, and you'll see that a lot in comp. Like, and maybe I shouldn't be doing this in comp, but if someone uses an ult, I'll be like, you shouldn't use an ult. You shouldn't use that ult. And they'll be like, oh, well, we won the fight anyway. What does it matter? Like, that is a terrible attitude to have, just making mistakes to make mistakes and not understanding that they're mistakes and just being like, well, it worked out that time, so I'm going to do it every other time. That is the worst thing you can do by far. But your Roadhog is insane, dude. I was playing...
Yeah, well, that's about all I got. But yeah, I can do it. But there's something else that, really quickly. I know this is your time, and I just wanted to let you know. I never really told you this, but one of my favorite things about playing with you is consistently you are the Overwatch educator, as I said. And I think you'll admit that there's times that the advice is probably a little spicier than it is at other times, but you're always educating people, right? You may have a little tone, you're irritated because someone's arguing back with you, but you still maintain like an educator's perspective. And that, I have to teach people for a living, and so I noticed just the way you're like, hey bro, next time when you're at 85% charge with that Mercy, just pull out your pistol and hit the Roadhog, because you're dead at that point. It was just something you gave me that advice, or you're not afraid to give advice politely most of the time. And I think that that's something that you've always done since I played, I think almost since release with you. You've been on my friends list.
Right.
You've constantly committed to that. And so something I just appreciate about you is that you teach, don't preach. You will often yell at your team, but there's a purpose. Guys, don't do that because you should never do that, and here's why. And so that is a huge reason I wanted to get you on. And I think Mel and Tank can already hear the educator tone in his voice. It's good. He knows what he's talking about. So anyway, that was my little polite thing to you. And anyway,
how often is that taken well versus taken poorly?
Because I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, I've done it a few times, or like I've been with people that do it, and there's certain people, I tell Tank what to do all the time. He always takes it poorly. But oh gosh, I try. But
that's never happened.
It's taken it depends on the individual, but like what really strikes people, and I have this happen a lot, like I'll be like, you guys need to back up or Genji's gonna blade us, right? And then they don't back up, and then Genji blades us and kills the whole team. And then I'll be like, yeah, next time if I tell you it's coming, right? Because like that's something very unique to the role of off tank. Because off tank is like a hybrid between support and tank. So I'm constantly watching, because the off tanks generally have abilities, and D.Va falls in the line with this now. Has abilities that can save people from short incremental burst of damage, so pulse bombs, or Farrah rockets, stuff like that. So like I'm always watching, and as you play, like I've developed this sense of like, okay, they're gonna do this, they're positioning this way, but a lot of the time people will be disrespectful to you, and that, I mean, we're playing a video game, right? Like I can understand where they're coming from when they get upset. I just have the mindset of like, I want to try to improve the community, and if I can do that through teaching, if someone takes something away from playing a game with me, then that's better than me getting the win because I yelled at that person essentially. And I don't really care if their feelings get hurt as long as they're getting better, because in turn that's going to make somebody else's game better in the future.
Right. Even if they react poorly, sometimes it still sinks in.
Right, exactly. I mean, they
know,
may not admit it to you, but the later game, they'll actually change their. I've seen it. I've seen it on my. I'll play on my main, play with somebody, and then I'll play on my Smurf, and they don't know it's me, and I'll watch them do like what I told them to do, and it's funny. But yeah, so you don't always get positive feedback, but you really can't care about that as long as you're not, getting chat banned and being mean to people for no reason or being hateful. It's not a big deal in my eyes.
Right. That's the goal. The goal is
That's-
to get them to change, not to get
Be
the
their friend.
praise.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And Tank's shaking his head. So Tank, I mean, I know you're shaking your head and you're probably being a little funny because I know that you deep down are always trying to improve. So if someone does give you advice, even if it comes across a little crass at times, you'll probably file that away. You'll listen. I think that you will. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, outside of Mel, I always take what people say with a grain of salt. So even if someone's bad-mouthing me on Tracer, however, okay, there's an exception to this. If someone's bad-mouthing me on Tracer, it makes me play harder to make them look like an ass.
Right. Yep.
But
So it
outside-
works. You're just like enticing people to badmouth you.
Typically, yes.
Okay.
But on other characters, like I'm not even going to pretend that I'm humble about it. I know I'm good on Tracer. So whenever people badmouth me on her, it just makes me want to 1v6 their entire team. Whereas if I'm playing really any other character, despite whether it's them just lashing out at me or not, I still think about what they're saying and see if there's any truth behind it, and then that just makes me a better player. So
Yeah.
at least I think so. I don't really have
Was-
any proof of that.
No, you have. But I think it's funny is I saw you shaking your head while he was talking, and I was like, why is he shaking his head? You agree? And sure enough, you agreed. I thought you did.
Yeah.
But, one thing I want to answer the question again is that I think the success rate's very high when playing with Hundo. Is most of the time it's fairly articulated and it's followed up by good play or, like you said, calling something that happens. So more often than not, I feel like he's pretty successful, but he also has a good tone in his voice most of the time, and he doesn't get hurt back. So again, those are all things you need. And I'm bad at that because I'll be a good educator until I'm mad at you in
Yeah.
Overwatch, and then I'm like, F you, bro. You're done. Dead to me. I don't care. Muted. And I lose
Or-
my cool. I've never seen
Muted.
him really lose it.
Or when OBS doesn't work. Either or.
Oh God.
That's a scary day.
I was having a bad week, guys. I told you there was
And you're
way
muted.
more involved in that.
We muted you. I'm pretty sure.
Like I said, I used to play like a little bit of COD professionally, so like I didn't ever you can't, and in those environments, like if you watch people like XQC stream, like, and he'll stream with his teammates sometimes, you'll see him freak out and they never get mad at him, and he never is actually mad. Like he may like visualize that he's mad, but the fact of the matter is, like, it's just high intensity. Like, I don't wish any ill will on anybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's
no.
high intensity. You got to make this decision now. We got to do this quickly, or we're going to lose the game. We're all going to lose SR, and everyone's actually going to be mad. So I think that's, like, a big part of it, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, I think we're trailing off a little bit, just kind of going all over the place. But we're really, that was a good question, I guess. We really,
That was a really good one.
yeah, we really kind of sparked a whole thing there. So, but there was a couple of questions here added late to the agenda. Tank, did you add number 4? That'd be my guess. So let's let you take that one.
Is there any relation to BigHundo beer from Magic Hat Brewing?
No. I looked up the beer. As soon as I saw that question, I literally went and looked up the beer, and I'm, like, seeing if they'll ship some to me because I got to have it now. But no, it's not at all.
It's actually not that bad if you do find it. Just
Really?
yeah.
I'm excited.
What kind of beer is it? Oh, American.
It's,
It's
like
an
a-
Imperial. Oh, I'm all in for that, dude. It's probably 100 IBUs. I think that's probably why the name is. Okay, I'll try it. And I just had a Magic Hat IPA last night, a rye IPA. It was very good from them. But BigHundo, if you can't find it, let me know, and I will ship it to you.
Please.
From out here.
Man.
We got that brewery out here, so no problem. Just remind me. And then this next question is from Mel, but the reason I'm doing this, I have the rock eyebrow, is because if it's from Gabe and it's rapid fire questions, these are going to be fun, Mel. So
Oh, God.
here you go. Good luck on the rapid fire, Hundo.
All right, you have to answer really quickly, okay?
Let's get it.
All right, dog or cat?
Cat.
AMD or Intel?
AMD.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
At the fair, funnel cakes or corn dogs?
Corn dogs, probably.
Tank or Mel?
Probably Mel right now.
Yeah! I'm not screaming yes because he picked Mel. I'm screaming yes because he picked somebody. I'm super stoked that he just picked. He just had to panic pick, and Tank left the show, guys. So Tank is
gone.
Hundo, you've got to come
That's
back
right.
next week and replace Tank because you're the one that scared him off. So
I'm sorry,
that's
dude.
That's amazing.
Oh, no, totally worth it.
Is it bad that part of me is actually sad? Like, I want Tank back. Can he come back?
He'll be
Please.
back.
All right, he'll be back then. So, he's back, but he's trudging back.
I just said for now, Tank. Later it could be you, man. Who knows?
Let's
Pick up your game.
let's guys listen. Guys, I think that's me trying to like keep it awkward. Is it working, Tank?
Okay.
Is it working, Tank?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, well, actually, you guys know what? I think I know what would resolve this conflict, and that's some current events.
When I'm pushing the payload, I get my news from the cavalry.
That's right, we get our news from the cavalry. And so for our news here today, our first bit of news is something we've actually talked about this map for the past few weeks, and we finally have it. It's finally here. It's out. So Junkertown is live and on servers. The patch dropped right on time on Tuesday, and I unfortunately have not got it in a competitive game. I only played 2. I just had to make sure I didn't decay. But yeah.
Is it in competitive?
What's that?
I thought it wasn't in competitive.
Oh wait, isn't it not in competitive?
Yeah,
For like
I
a
don't think
week
it
or
is.
something. Yeah, okay. Forgive me. That's probably why I haven't got it. And I played it on the PTR a ton. So I mean I've gotten my fair share of it. I'm looking forward to it being in the competitive rotation, but I'm not, requiring it. So anyway, Tank, because I can tell you are basically about to quit. And you know that you're done for. No, tell me what you think, man. Are you excited for Junkertown? Anything?
Yeah, sort of. The introduction of a new map is always risky, in my opinion. Not risky, because there's not like a set plan. A lot of teams tend to crumble.
Right.
So a lot of those games really just come down to what team has the better DPS carry, like who's going to make the biggest impact until there's a set strategy or set couple strategies for that map. So I don't really like it all that much because those are always a coin toss. I mean, even Lunar Colony still, even there's like a couple ways to get into those areas, it's still kind of a toss-up for that map.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same way for this. And the map is pretty damn big, so that doesn't help anything. I think it's going to be a long time before we see all of the strategies come out for it. And I think it's going to be a long time before we see solo queue adhere to those.
It's so many routes, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go so many different ways. I was getting lost. I was like, oh my gosh.
I think, if I remember, Route 66 felt that way when it first came out, too. Very high ceiling map. It was very long. It was very wide at points. And even when we got to the end of the map where it was kind of tighter, it was still very winding. So I remember it being there. And I agree there's growing pains with still with Horizon Lunar Colony. I feel like we've gotten to an okay place. But you're right. It's still a bit inconsistent. And so
I mean, it's a horrible map. Let's be honest.
I like the lore so much, I kind of overlook the gameplay. I know that's a really crappy thing, and I'm kind of doing that with Junkertown right now too. I just love the lore, and I love the the plan video, and I love the Queen concept. So, Hundo, what about you, man? Anything you like about this?
Yeah, definitely. You know what I've noticed? Because I just spammed all of my arcade wins through that mode, that 6v6 Junkertown. Like, That was my way of like speed learning the map essentially. And what I've noticed is very attacker sided. Like I very rarely win on defense, and people are actually picking semi decent comps. It's not like 6 DPS. Generally, you have a Mercy and at least one tank who's sometimes Diva, but it's very attacker sided. And what I really like about the map is it has this very like urban combat feel. And it's crazy to say that in Overwatch because you don't really think about it, but there's a lot of like tight corners, a lot of high ground above those tight corners, and like Mel said, there's a lot of ways to like flank around. Like almost every single point has a way that you can get around behind the team while they're pushing the cart. So I think that it was very much designed. I think it was very much designed to be this like skirmisher map. You're not going to have these long, drawn out, extended fights. Like when a fight erupts in this map, it ends very quickly generally. One thing I did notice about the first part is like, okay, so you remember when Overwatch came out and everyone held like right in front of the attacker's spawn doors?
Yes.
People do that on Junkertown.
Yes.
It's so weird. It's like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't a winning fight for you, no matter what. Like, you're gonna get picked.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why
was just
this
a
map?
PTR
Like,
thing.
we don't do that on any other map.
Yeah. I think it's because that's high ground right there. I don't know.
It similar enough as King's Row. Like I
Right.
still see teams hold right up by those two gates or the two walls right behind the bus.
Right.
Like you're so close to the spawn at that point, it's just
They just
free
go
picks.
around you.
Or that.
Haven't been shot enough times in the head by Widowmaker, I guess. I don't know.
That's funny. Well,
You get it eventually.
yeah, the community will figure it out. We'll grow with Junkertown. But I think it's just a nice addition to have another escort map. We've kind of been in that zone where we've only had 2, and it's nice to really have that third one to finally come join the party. So, moving forward with the news, we do have an obscure update. But if you guys enjoyed the Muppets and you thought that the Swedish Chef was an enjoyable character, you haven't met Taimu. That's right, folks. Taimu, or Timu, I think it's Timu is the correct pronunciation, player from Envious. We now know as the Dallas Overwatch League team. Spoiler alert. But he did like a cooking show. And it was like, we have a Kotaku article we'll link in the show notes description. But it's just him making some Swedish meatballs. And they look fantastic. They look great. So, Mel, did you know that you'd be getting cooking tips from Overwatch players?
I had no idea, but it was entertaining. And the slow-mo effects were good. The little tips on the bottom were good.
That's what I'm saying. It was well edited, too, right? It was good. It was it was well done.
It was funny.
I wonder if they hired someone for that or just somebody in-house that's good at editing. It was weird. It's
I
like, did
bet
you guys put money in this?
That's funny is I bet you
Right.
the people they hire to cut like esports highlights and do like, like house documentaries of them training.
Right.
That's the person that like, hey, we need you to head to the house. Oh, we cutting some footage for the next tournament? No, Tim. We need you to go film a cooking show. What? I don't know what the conversation was like, but
That was his next guess.
yeah, that's my next guess. No, that is funny. Tank, I mean, were you inspired? Is this going to have you start your own Tank Zords cooking channel on YouTube? What's going on?
I actually enjoy cooking a lot, so that was actually kind of cool to watch. I don't know if this is across the board for gamers, but gamers aren't really necessarily known for their kitchen prowess.
Hot Pockets.
Yes.
Right?
So I thought it was pretty cool that they went through such great lengths for this video. And yeah, I gotta say the guy's a pretty good cook.
Hey, man.
Were you big hungry after this BigHundo?
Shoot. As soon as I saw him, I was like, I need some, dude.
No, I can't do this anymore. I know.
he did not like my dad joke. Dad joke.
One more dad joke.
But no, I was hungry too after, man. I thought they looked delicious, and maybe I'm a sucker because it's the guy making it. But it's definitely something I want to whip up. And then my wife says, "Oh, these are really good." I said, "Yeah, Overwatch taught me that."
That's another reason why I play so much. I learned how to
Over
cook
meat.
too.
Over meat, gross. And Mel, there's just one point you just so gently and earnestly go, Hot Pockets. It was so funny. I don't know why in my head we were just like, gamers aren't known for cooking, and then you go, Hot Pockets. It just was, I don't know. It was great.
Slambo, I have a request. Can we get that for a sound clip? That way when Mel has her own segment, we can just use that just on loop like 5 or 6 times.
Hot Pockets, Hot Pockets.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'll have my own cooking show.
Yeah,
and I'll
maybe.
teach you how to cook Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
This is Cooking Hot Pockets with Mel. Okay, so that is the name of the episode, Cooking Hot Pockets with Mel. Just let everybody know. Okay.
Love it.
We should continue on with some more news, though, as cool as the meatballs are. But I think this is...
They're actually warm.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Fair enough.
Oh, my God. Okay, anyway, free Overwatch weekend. So tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your cousin, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your neighbors. It's Overwatch free weekend on console, on PC, September 22nd to September 26th. And I love these. They don't really impact us as players because we're kind of where we are, right? We're placed in our games. We're not really going to be flooded with newbies and stuff like that. But it's a good reminder to say, hey, guys, let's embrace anyone who is new. Let's help them out in quick play. Let's teach them what to do in the arcade. Let's take a page out of BigHundo's book, and let's embrace and educate our newfound wave of people. I, for one, want more potential esports viewers, and we're going to get that through people adopting the game through these free weekends. So, Hundo, do you we always talk about how we have a lot of friends that end up playing, and some of them end up staying. Do you see that with the free weekends, or do you have people around you that end up trying it at least?
I've gotten several people into Overwatch, and I will say that it has been like marginally unsuccessful. Most of the time they'll play, to level 100, and then they'll play casually every now and again. They never get into competitive. And that was something that I thought was interesting is they actually, you cannot queue for competitive on a free weekend if you're on a free account. It doesn't let you, even if you hit level 25.
Oh, really?
Which is, yeah, that's for the best, honestly, 100%. I didn't want that get happening. But I think that it's a good time in Overwatch's lifespan, definitely, to have this free weekend, get some new people in. We just got a brand new map, like you were saying. And I think that it's very interesting to have this new wave of people coming in, and the scene can always grow. And I think what a lot of times some people are hostile to newer players or players that aren't as skilled as they are. And you got to remember, this is an online game. And they're heavily invested in esports at this point. The more people we have, the more people that are interested in the game, the more chances we're going to get to enjoy the game. So I think it's a really good thing.
I totally agree, and there was a message from Nate Nanzer, the Overwatch League commissioner, who said that who they're targeting is everyone. Anyone who plays Overwatch is a potential esports viewer. Excuse me, which not enough games approach it that way. I mean, a lot do. That's not a lot. Not a lot of Blizzard games approach it that way, and I think they have an opportunity here to take this 30 million whatever subscriber base, player base, and grow an esports audience through it. But, I don't know. They just need bursts of, hype and buy-in from new people. And I think these free weekends are a good way to do it. And, we'll see how it goes. But Tank, you got any thoughts on the free weekend? Anything you got? Any plans you have?
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I was looking up pictures of Muppets because someone said that in chat, and it just spiraled way out of control.
Okay, Mel. No,
real awkward.
All I was asking is if you
show.
have any.
No, well, hold on.
Okay.
You should see. I'm comparing us to Muppets in chat right now for the community's benefit.
Oh God. I don't know. I don't want to know what Muppet I
don't
am.
want to know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's fine, Mel. We haven't gotten to you yet. Stepdad, you're already done.
Am I Kermit? Am I Kermit?
No.
No.
Am I Gonzo? I'm Gonzo, aren't I?
Oh. Damn it! No, I should have picked that one.
Oh, okay. Listen, you're getting me distracted now with your Muppet talk.
Dude, someone said Muppets. It's not my fault. ADHD kicked in and I was off. Just
to be fair, you're watching chat like you should be. That's what you should be doing. But Mel, I'll give you a chance. Any plans for this free weekend?
No. Bobby tried to get me to play on the Xbox with him. He's like, I'm gonna stream it. It'll be great. And I'm like, I am so mentally challenged with the Xbox controller on a first-person shooter. It's not even funny. I look at the ground or like I'm looking at the ceiling. Like we'll play one where I'm just walking and Bobby will be like, "Why are you looking down?" And I'm like, "I don't know why I'm looking down. I don't know how to look up. I don't know."
You're saying.
I just want to say.
Go ahead, Tay. Go ahead. I know what you're going to say. Say it.
She finally admitted it. I'm out.
What did I
That's it.
admit?
I that you're.
I think he's saying you're a ground
I
looker.
think it had to do with what your admission of your mental capacity was. That's what he's talking about. Tank knows. Okay, what I was going to say, which was not a comment on your mental capacity as much as Tank wants it to be.
She said it, not me.
No, but I was going to say, you led with, it's not funny. I'm so bad it's not funny. And then what you described to me was a very funny instance where I thought I would laugh if I saw you looking at the ceiling running around the map. I thought that would be hilarious. So I disagree. It would be hilarious to see you be awful with a controller.
Well, I'm sorry, you won't.
Well, there's some news here that may make us happy, though. Something that, may get us in a better mood. And that's people getting banned.
Ooh.
Tank is listening now. I got to use the right word to activate his reticular activation system. That's right, Tank. Banned.
He's worried it was him.
Justice. And what I'm talking about is there's a streamer known as Steve-O. And he's one of these streamers that did this, something I hate, which is this bronze to GM quote-unquote challenge. I'm going to keep the air quotes for like an extra 5 seconds. Challenge. Okay, so basically what they do is they get an account and they make sure it gets in bronze. Whether they throw their placement games or they just don't do anything during the leveling process, they ensure they get to bronze. Then they take the character of their choice, their main, and they only play that character until they hit GM. And they stream the whole thing. It's a nice little event. Well, this behavior is not good for the community. It doesn't impact everyone as a whole, but it's creating more people to follow in their footsteps. It's making other streamers want to do it. It's just impacting more and more games. Well, there's precedent being set now. Blizzard has banned Steve-O, a Symmetra main, in the middle of the live stream. So justice was served on a platter to us all via a Twitch clip, and it was amazing. So, Tank, I got to start with you. You got a big smile on your face, the happiest you've been all show, and that's because of bans. So tell me what you're thinking.
He's laughing at the Muppets again.
All right, Tank, you're cut. Mel, what are your thoughts?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm listening. It's just Daner
lost your
is
opportunity.
linking some really good stuff. Anyway, I'm happy that Blizzard's doing it. I think they should be. I think that they need to be a little bit more harsh than where they are now. It's good that they did this and kind of
They Martha Stewart.
ban someone. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think there's a lot more that's ban-worthy going on in the game right now, but this is a good start.
All right.
Hundo, what about you? What do you got?
Man, I'm with you. I hate that type of behavior. And not only do I hate it because obviously your account sharing with somebody or you did some kind of buffoonery to get placed into bronze. Not only that, pretty much essentially all the way up, however many games it takes you, you're ruining the game for people by one, only playing one character, and by two, putting yourself in a position of, I know that I'm better than these people and I'm just going to stomp on them with Symmetra and Silver. Come on, man. Okay, I can understand that it pulls viewers in. I can understand that maybe some people are interested in seeing the process of, how do I win at Masters games at Symmetra? How do you do it? But there's better ways to go about that rather than pretty much essentially throwing and then making the ranking process miserable all the way back up to GM. It's ridiculous. And I think that Blizzard has taken these awesome approaches on banning people on stream, showing people look, if you do this isn't the first time they've done it. They did it a while back at the beginning of the game. I forgot what the dude was doing, but they banned him. And
Well,
it's they're setting this precedent of don't make our game unfun for other people, essentially.
Don't put it on the internet.
And yeah,
don't put it on the
stream
internet,
right?
please.
Don't glorify it. But I think it was. Are you thinking of DeFran from Selfless, where he was throwing?
That's what it was.
Throw for DeFran. Yeah, we call him DeFrench fries because he went back to working at McDonald's, and I'm still bitter about it. So.
Oh man.
Poor guy. But Mel, any
What a
last
rough
thoughts here?
life.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I mean, I think, yeah, BigHundo kind of broke it all down. It's just, I think it's a good thing. I think he got the attention he wanted, though.
Yep.
He didn't care if he got banned.
Yeah, I mean, I think even watching the video, he was like, "Yep, there it is. I knew it was coming."
Right.
It's like, you jerk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, after hearing about that and thinking about this guy named Steve-O who's throwing, I'm just feeling like blasphemous and unholy. So I think there's only one thing we can do. The Church of Kaplan is now in session. Praise him. Praise him.
Praise him.
In our Devon Savior's
Praise
name,
him.
I have a reading from the book of IGN. And what I mean by that is we have an interview with our beloved Papa Jeffy Cap, praise him. And he did, it was a really nice interview with IGN. It was fairly lengthy. I want to just get right to something that drew me. I mean, the title is very clickbaity. And because of that title, I want to make a prediction based on this interview. So it's a great interview. It's a really long one. I'll let you guys kind of talk about anything you want to. We will have the link in the show notes for you guys to check out it in its entirety. But when I see something that says the next hero is closer than people, or it's playable and it's really fun internally, I'm going to make a prediction that we're going to get 2 heroes at BlizzCon.
Wow.
I think so, too.
The reasoning is because I feel like if it's already playable, then that next character is probably entering that next playable phase right now, with the goal of both coming out in November.
Do you think it will kind of lessen the excitement if you have 2?
No, because I remember back to the BlizzCon, the year after the announcement, when they dropped 3 heroes, and it didn't feel like Genji, Mei, or Diva were lessened. It felt like all 3 of those were so colorful. One was blue, green, and pink or whatever, but it's still just, they felt so different, and they were all different roles that it didn't overlap at all to me, and I had a ton of hype. In fact, I felt like when we only got Sombra, I was a bit wanting, I mean, I was happy with Sombra, and it's really good to get a new character, but I wouldn't have been mad with 2. So Tank, am I nuts?
No, I think that's spot on. My only real question, and I didn't really think about that they would be releasing 2, but now that you mention it, is this going to be a tandem release, like they're from the same backstory?
I think it'll be a healer and a tank.
See, and I think I'm with Mel, and I'm thinking the tank is going to be like closer to Azaria, to Hundo style, which is tank support, kind of that more that middle ground role, maybe even less damage than Azaria can deal, but even a better defensive mechanic, whether that be shield, armor, some kind of a team pull, a friendly pull, something. There's got to be a way a tank can kind of find that more of a support, even like a tank with light heals. I don't know. Hundo, what do you got? What are we nuts here on the cavalry? What are we doing?
I don't think so, man. Honestly, and it's very possible we're going to get 2. I can almost guarantee also we're going to get an animated short, which kind of solidifies that there is 2. They're going to be from the same backstory because they're both going to be in that animated short. And furthermore, I really feel like we're going to get 2 Talon agents. I feel like we're going to get Maximilian, like the opposite of Zenyatta, right? Like a debuff support, kind of like a Warlock from World of Warcraft. Like a debuff support would be awesome. Like, I would love that. And then maybe
Slambo's been asking for a dark support forever.
I'm saying, dude. I'm saying, like, we need that in the game. Like, all the supports, they're either very neutral or they're good. There is no, like, middle ground with them. They're the least diversified of the cast. So I'm just waiting for them to make a short that's going to outdo Dragons. I don't think they'll do it ever. But, I mean, maybe I'm crazy.
No, dude, Dragons is the pinnacle to me.
Yeah.
But that speaks to me on a personal level. But anyway, no, we'll see, man. I love it. When you said it, my mic was muted, but I was going, yes, in real life, because I've been asking for that, to Mel's point. So thank you for calling it out. And I would like to see like that tandem. Tank, what do you got?
So this is a two-stager, and I'll make it quick, but do you think that we're going to see the... Oh, shut up, Mel. That's rude. Do you think that we're going to see... I've referred to this several times over all of our recordings, but that initial poster that came out for the game, there's that character in the biohazard suit. I am dying to see what that character could potentially end up doing if it were released. And the idea of a dark support, what if that character just had a bunch of like slow mechanics and then had a debuff that whenever they were poisoned by somebody, whenever they're hit, they heal the person hitting them.
I'm
Just
Like a
saying.
lifesteal?
yes.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. If it's that little toxic character, or whomever it is, they can lay a circle on the ground, probably about the size of a Soldier 76 heal. Maybe it's like a toxic splatter, whatever, if it's the toxic guy. If your teammates are standing in it, they have that lifesteal mechanic. They get a percentage of their damage back like Reaper. If an enemy walks through it, it slows them and causes them to give that lifesteal out. So whether the enemy's standing in
Like
it
a Junkrat
or
trap.
we're standing in it, the lifesteal mechanic is applied. I kind of like that idea.
I like it.
Like
I dig
I like
that.
it. Is that
We
the
need to counter
support
to
or the
Lucio.
tank?
Wait, what'd you say, Mel? And then I'm going to get to Hundo. What'd you say, Mel?
Is that the support or the tank that
That's
you
the
think would do
support
that?
I
The
was
support,
thinking of.
right?
But that actually might be a tank
Okay.
ability. I don't know. It could go either way. Okay, yeah, that might be a good tank support because it's a light heal. It's a very light heal. But
Right.
Hundo, what were you saying?
We need an answer to Lucio, like plain and simple. Like we have to have an answer to Lucio. Like it's ridiculous that he's in 95% of the games. Like there needs to be a slow. If he's gonna do AOE heals, we need an AOE slow or something of that nature. Because the fact that like, what is this guy just gonna be off healer for the rest of eternity? Like, come on now. We need an answer to him, and I think that definitely an AOE debuffer is probably the road they're gonna go to answer Lucio's AOE healing and speed boost. Maybe.
I can almost guarantee that one of the next two characters that are released are going to have some sort of a slow to slow down not only Lucio, but the Death Ball comps of Winston, Diva, Lucio, Genji, and Tracer all just diving in at once. There's got to be a character that stops that. And I realize Junkrat right now is
Right,
kind
yeah.
of filling that role, but there's got to be something more than that because, like you said, 95% of games have Lucio in it.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a must pick. He just takes down the number of supports that can be played in a game, because he's always picked. So then you have one other.
There's only four. There's only four we got to choose from. It's not like we get this massive cast, and then one of them isn't even a support. One of them's a defense hero.
Yeah, and that's why I think we need two support with this BlizzCon. And here's my final prediction because my cogs were turning while we were talking. So I'm going to call it double support. One of those is Hammond, our very first Pharah style vertical support. Lucio is a very horizontal, movement, but maybe we get a some kind of vertical support. Hammond, the jetpack chimp mentioned in the Winston stuff. He's going to be a support. And then I agree with Maximilian having more of a debuff or a slow, not as much, more like a Symmetra support where he's not a healer, but he provides some kind of support benefit. I think that's our next two, another healer with Hammond and another alternative support, Maximilian. I like our predictions here, although those two have nothing to do with each other from a lore perspective, so that's a bad call. But I'm going to stick to my guns.
Who knows,
You
man?
got this.
Oh my god. I think we might have said this before, but what if Maximilian is in that biohazard suit to sneak out? So what if that is him inside the...
You're right, we wouldn't know. It's a very baggy suit. We don't know what's underneath. I don't know. I guess we could probably speculate till we're blue in the face. But all of this came, guys, because of an interview with our Devin savior, Papa Jeffy Cap. Praise him.
Praise him.
And it didn't just stop there with the IGN interview. It was good. It was great. But we also finally got something I think we wanted to get some information on. And, when they're balancing Overwatch, are they balancing it based on the professional or the highest tiers of play? Or are they basing it on all the casual or the entry levels of play? And I think we finally got a nice articulated answer from Jeff Kaplan. And And basically is just confirmation that they do in fact listen to the pros. And I think we always knew that we always assumed they cater to casual, quote unquote. They cater to the masses. They run, they look at map win rates from all modes, from all things. And that's what concerned us, is that decisions are being made in a vacuum without some of the best players around, because some of the best players are some of the lowest populated groups. The less amount of people are in the highest ranks. So really to sum it up is that they just want to let you know they're listening to pros. They actually have a normal conference call with pros. They use a Discord called the OW, where the Blizzard devs actually talk with pros on a semi-regular basis. And this is just to really say, hey, when we're balancing this game, we want it to be a healthy esport as well as a healthy game. And if they're talking to the pros, then I have confidence that they'll be taking that feedback and applying it to the esports side. So, Mel, I'll just start with you on this one. What do you think? You happy to hear this?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I think you can't balance it towards only casuals. And I think everybody tries to be like the pros anyways, so might as well balance it that way.
That's fair. That's fairly sound logic. I like it. Tank, what about you?
I don't know. I think it's...
Tank wants them to balance it towards Tank.
I'll always want that. I'll never admit it. I'll let you guys say it for me, so I don't look like the bad guy. But I think he was saying that he takes that advice from the community to CYA. I think the majority of where they base their decision is on the conversations they have with pro players and the statistics of the game.
When we read from the scripture in the Church of Kaplan, I don't expect you to blaspheme all over us, okay? I'm just kidding. But I totally get what you're saying, and I think it could be lip service, all right? I don't want it to be lip service, but it might be, and they may say, yeah, we talk with the pros, but how much action have they taken from that pro feedback is something we may never know as outsiders. So we kind of have to take it at face value and trust that that is the process and the process works. But to your point, will we really know how many decisions are based on either group? Maybe if it's in the developer note, but I guess we'll find out. BigHundo, any last thoughts here on this this feedback balancing that they're doing?
Absolutely. So you got to keep in mind, whenever the pros run a meta, the reason that they run the meta is because you get the most results for the least amount of work, right? So with Triple Tank, it was staying alive till Roadhog landed a hook. With the dive recently, it was killing supports. So you got to keep in mind, these people are going to play the most efficient thing, most bang for their buck. So at the end of the day, you do have to balance around them, because if something is broken, they will abuse it. And the only reason they're going to abuse it is because there's money on the line. If I went to a tournament and I knew I could win $1 million, would I not run Triple Tank if that's what was hot right now? Yeah, I would absolutely run Triple Tank because I want to win. And I know that they're going to do what they need to do to win. So you can't, and to a further point, nothing's going to be so broken that the pros can use it and the regular community can't. So most of the time, whenever the pros say, like Doomfist, Doomfist, whenever he came out, was insane. It was crazy. He was in almost in every game, and they literally knew, if we don't nerf this guy, he's going to be in every game, and people are going to abuse him. And that's not only going for pros, that's going for everybody.
Well said. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited for Overwatch esports if this relationship is as strong as it seems it is, because this is, at least again for the overall broader sense of the game, decisions are tougher. But when we're talking about just the health of Overwatch esports, I think that it's great that they have this relationship with the pros already. So that's at least the happy side of the coin there. Well, I got to say, we're having a great episode here. We're not even to main discussion. We are an hour in. We are killing it right now. But I guess with that, I kind of spoiled it. We're heading into, well, it's the main discussion somewhere in the world. It's the main discussion somewhere in the world, and I guess somewhere is right here, right now. And I really this is kind of a broad question, and I want to go around and get everybody a chance to answer. And it's more so just not only, and I know not all of us play the two characters that are mentioned here, but we've been playing against them at least for a couple days. So how are we enjoying the new Mercy and Diva changes? And I'm jumping right to Mel on this one because I more so want to hear your thoughts on Mercy, Mel, because we know, based on the hat, your thoughts. So yeah, go ahead.
Mercy.
Tell me what's going on.
I'm excited about it. It's a lot of muscle memory that has to change with me, just with the ultimate and different things, just because I've played so many hours of Mercy. But I think it makes her a better hero. I think it raises her skill cap. I think it's going to set apart the good Mercies from the bad Mercies more. But playing Mercy, it's a learning curve for everybody on the team, I think. So now I go in to res one person, which they say it's like 5 meters. It's like 1. You have to be like 1 meter away. Like, let's be honest. And you're like on top of them and you have to res them. And you have to decide when to res and who to res. But you also have to look at, can I get out alive? And is it worth it? And then 30 seconds seems to last forever. I feel like it's like 4 minutes. I'm like, I swear, I haven't rested forever. Come on. But I'm super excited. I think it's going to be great.
So far, so good then, right? You know you've got mechanics to pick up, but in your short time playing her, it doesn't feel like a brand new character. It still feels like Mercy, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've only played on my ult because I don't want to play on my main until I feel comfortable with Mercy on my main. But I think overall, I mean, most of her mechanics stay the same.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that. It's just getting a feel for when to use your E, your res, and your team protecting you. You know, if you've got a Zarya, have them bubble you as you go into res so you can get back out. If somebody can shield you, you know, anything. But people don't think about that yet. So I'm just waiting for them to get on board.
I think people are figuring that out, is that the when they have to initiate that solo res, it's almost like you have to be more aware the Mercy's doing it. Before, it was a game of find the Mercy. She's hiding somewhere, and they're waiting for all the kills. You know, now teams are going to be, as soon as they see like a tank drop or like a DPS come in and dive, they're going to say, get ready for the follow-up. Here comes the Mercy. You know, it's a different pattern or rhythm to it, but players probably aren't used to going in yet, and then teams aren't used to countering it. But after a couple of weeks, you're going to get blown up a lot quicker going in for those solo early reses, I think. So,
for sure.
I'm excited. We're going to keep, of course, keep up with you on the show and find out how it's growing for you and how it's going. But keep us up to date on, how Mercy feels. And, for you, too, I was going to ask you, have you seen a lot of divas in the game around you yet? Or not as much? And I have a reason
yeah,
I'm
a little
asking.
bit.
All right, the reason I'm asking
I've been
is
kind of trying to do like the Junkertown map and practice Mercy at the same time.
that's a good call.
Just try to get exposure to both.
No, it's it's a way to do it. You're training. Well, the reason I ask you is I just want to know if you feel her getting blown up more while trying to heal her. Because that defense matrix has been halved. So
Yeah, she definitely dies faster.
Fair enough.
Like I'll have my heal on her, and it doesn't matter. She'll still die.
Okay.
Or get demeched.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to move on next to BigHundo. Then we'll get to tank. Because I know, Hundo, you kind of play both. You play Mercy and you play the off-tank role, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear your thoughts overall.
I think that it's really interesting because they're kind of leaning towards more APM and skill. Like they want to have decision making be like the metric of skill, and with Diva especially the changes to defense matrix. And people would be like, oh, you're not eating a grab, you're not eating a pulse bomb. I ate a grab and a pulse bomb last night in a 4100 game. Same game with Koth. It's not impossible, but you don't have this comfort blanket of like, I got 4 seconds, I can eat whatever comes at me. I don't care. I'm going to hold it on this healer till she gets out. Can't do that anymore, obviously. But I think the changes have been wonderful, especially with Diva. And I made a video about it recently saying she can still deny space, but now when she goes up to deny space, she can actually kill you as opposed to her DMing you and you having to drop off the top. That, like, you have to get away from her essentially and go somewhere till she leaves. Now she can actually kill you if you're not being properly supported up there. And with the Mercy, it's very much the same thing. Decision making is going to determine how good you are on that character, as it should be, because it's that way with every other single support, literally.
Yeah, awesome. Do you find the new Diva more fun? I mean,
absolutely.
I think the answer is duh. You know, missiles and you could fire while
missiles.
flying and all that, and less holding right click. But
Right.
and then do you find the new Mercy more fun as well to play?
I do find the new Mercy like really fun, and something that I really like about the new Mercy is the positioning that the flight gives you. So what I've been doing is I'll jump in and rest somebody, pop my ult, and fly straight up in the air and sit there and beam people from above where they can actually see me and hit me. And so they pretty much we have a source of chain healing that they can't get to, and if they try to get to me, I just fly off. And you got 10 seconds, you know what I mean? You got 10 seconds on your res whenever you pop Valkyrie. So essentially, for the next 20 seconds, you can get 2 reses off. It's phenomenal. Like, it's probably one of the best changes they've made to any character, I think.
Those are pretty strong words, and I'll admit, just from like a player perspective, when she's in Valkyrie, she is tough to hit, man. Like, it is not. I mean, she is not only because the movement's kind of predictable with Guardian Angel. You know, she's gonna go from point A to point B in a linear path. Now it's just so much more fluid, and the juking is just so much easier from the Mercy's perspective.
Good Mercies will get away from you every single time. And if you're not careful, if they get you low, they might pistol you too. That's the really scary thing is you could chase her around the corner and she might pistol you down because she has infinite ammo.
I'm gonna tell an embarrassing story, but my very first day playing Overwatch, very first day, second game ever, I was playing against Cool Matt 69. And he killed me. I was like McCree. It's like my first like time playing McCree. This is like back in Alpha. Now that I think about it, and he killed me with a Mercy pistol, like in a one-on-one duel. And I remembered his name. See, I didn't know him from TF2 or anything. I was just like, Cool Matt 69. That is the dumbest name. I just died to this guy with a Mercy pistol, and I was so mad. And then he ended up becoming like a pro player, and I was like, I didn't feel as bad. But I died to a Mercy pistol like in Alpha, like much less that. That was embarrassing. So I guess it wouldn't hurt as bad today because the pistol deals more damage and she's got an increase, you know, in Valkyrie.
I think one thing to point out about Valkyrie is that there's a lot of people that don't use the damage boost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's only been out a couple days, but the damage boost can really help your team get their ultimates quicker. If you're damage boosting them and then it chains to everybody else, it's kind of like people used to Ana ult to work up the Zarya ult or whatnot. Like, that's something to keep in mind.
I like it. And
I'll say,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I'll say that that's a very good point. Like, good Mercies will, in the past, whenever you're damage boosting someone, you'd switch between damage boost and heal to keep it where they couldn't get spiked down, but they're still doing reliable increased damage. Now you can do that for the entire team, and it's insane. Like, it's literally insane. They're unkillable, and they're putting out tons of damage, and they're getting their ult faster, and if they die, then it's not a big deal. You bring them right back, yeah.
Right. That's the thing. Like, if they do die, you can go down and res them. But you do put yourself at high risk by going down and resing. I will say, today, it was my first game. I wasn't warmed up. I ulted, and I got Roadhog hooked. Like,
no.
Immediately. Like, I ulted, like, started flying, and it was like, whoop, nope, you're dead. I was like, oh.
It's like the cartoon, like, finally freedom! And then you die.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay.
Feels bad.
It was bad.
Feels bad, man. It's right. Tank, what about you, brother? Any thoughts here on how you feeling with the Diva, the Mercy? What's going on?
Well, excuse me. I've only seen. I haven't played with Mel yet, so I've only seen one good Mercy, and that is a little concerning considering I've put in 10 games since her release, and she's been in every single game, both on offense and defense, and I've only seen one, and thankfully that was on my team.
I think everybody's just still trying to figure out how to play her.
Oh, yeah, I totally get it. Like it from a old Mercy player to coming into this, you have to relearn positioning. You have to relearn your ult. Like there's just a lot going into it. It's just, I don't know. For as popular as she is right now, it's kind of scary. And I'm not a huge Mercy player. Like I will play her if needed, but it's not someone that I just jump into. But however, on the other side, Diva, I love the changes. I liked them in the PTR, even though I felt they were really overpowered. That once you started casting the missiles, you couldn't interrupt it, which they fixed before the live release. So now that they did that, I feel like it's a bit more fair, but it changes the way you have to approach fights with her, and I enjoy it a lot more.
That's good. I mean, I think across the board, then everyone here has said it's better. Like, none. I think sometimes when we see a rework or changes, there's concern. And I think Tank, when we get to your community plea later, that's a fair type of concern when things like this happen. I don't want to spoil that. We'll save that for later. But I just think that overall, it seems like the community's really positive about the changes. We're all fairly positive about the changes. We're pretty happy. I'm very happy with the changes. I just want to say a couple quick things. What I like about Diva, it's just like the Roadhog changes, where those Roadhog changes helped a player like me and my Roadhog style. These Diva changes help me as a Diva player. I know Defense Matrix was kind of easy. You almost had so long, like Hundo said, you didn't get punished as much.
It was boring.
It was boring almost. And what I would do to kind of combat that boring play style is I'd be really aggressive. I'd be in your face. And now I'm going to get kind of rewarded for that, but it's going to require me to really fine-tune my DM skills and excuse me, and make sure that I'm using it effectively without wasting it. And it's going to be such a challenge. Like, I'm not going to lie. So that's fine, blah, blah, blah. I'm happy with those changes. What I'm concerned about with Diva, or not concerned, what I'm happy about with Diva 2 is that I can peel better for supports. Where now, when someone dives the back line, I can kind of chip away at them and hope to scare them off with a DM or maybe save them from a few tracer bullets. Now I can kind of blitz right at that diving DPS. I can pop my rockets, hold down my left click, and do enough damage to get him to go find a health pack or get at least just, again, peel for my support. So Diva, now she's going to use that mobility, not just on the front line, but on the back line, and be able to kind of go back and forth and just be more active. That's the way I like to play her in the first place. So I'm really excited for that.
I think people need to remember that, though.
I'm saying,
because I think right now everybody's very frontline oriented with Diva.
Yeah. And I die a lot.
And,
yes.
Right. And they forget that they still do have that capability to peel for their supports.
Yeah.
When Mercy's rezzing, times like that.
Totally. So yeah, go ahead, Tank.
So the next time we play together, Mel, you can tell me what you think about this, but I changed the way I played Diva quite a bit because of these changes. So beforehand, I would always, not that I played a ton of Diva, but when I would play her, I would try to go after, say, Hanzo, who's sitting in the back, or like a problem target on the enemy team that I can disrupt. But since these changes, I'll sit between our tank and the healers. That way, when their Ryan approaches, I can use my missiles and help break down that shield better and save my defense matrix for when the enemy DPS are coming back for the healers. And I've been playing that middle ground more so that I've been playing the aggressive side of things unless that's needed.
Yeah, well said. Go ahead, Hundo.
There's a happy medium.
It's
Right.
I will say that most of the characters that will be in your backline as well, those are characters that do not like to take chip damage. Like Genji becomes a lot weaker whenever he's below 75% HP. Same thing with Tracer, same thing with Sombra. The only character that benefits from this change that is a backline harasser is Reaper, and it is insane because you cannot eat Death Blossom anymore. You get 2 seconds of it, and then he'll heal back up and kill everybody. It's insane, but so it's really good. I mean, all you have to do is burst your rockets into where you think they're going, and if they take chip damage from it, they gotta leave, man. Because if not, you're gonna be able to you're gonna be able to chip damage them out, and you could chase them if they leave and shoot while you're chasing them. So like, it's a death sentence for people that are making sure that when they're harassing, they're being efficient and then leaving. That tracer that likes to stay in your backline for 5 minutes, that's over with, or it should be at least.
The one thing.
God.
It sucks for me, but the one thing that's the most difficult to get used to with the new Diva is shooting and flying at the same time.
It's weird.
Yep.
You're worried that if you shoot, you'll stop, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, wait, I can do this. You do hesitate, though. I've luckily the PTR helped me a little bit. My first couple of games on the PTR, I would start to shoot and then let go. Like, was that okay? Well, it was okay. That was
Sorry.
Did you guys see the post on the forums? They're about to add a new system setting for Diva where whenever you hold your shift, it's like Soldier's toggle sprint. So like if you hold it and then when you let go, you stop boosting. So it doesn't do the full boost. You don't have to cancel it anymore. Yep.
I kind of like that.
I think I
It's
like
Mercy's
it, but
Guardian Angel too.
yes, yeah, just like that. But I'm so ingrained with how Diva flies right now. I think if they gave me that option and the ability to shoot, like.
Yeah, just out of
So
your ear.
Tank would start flying, start shooting, and stop flying immediately.
Yes.
And then just fall.
Yes.
And just sit there and realize what you did and be so
fall down
embarrassed you
hole or
just walk away. So there's just an AFK Diva until you disconnect.
And then Mel comes on the voice chat like, I don't need to say anything, right?
Well, my last thing here with all this, my thoughts on this is it's a PSA is that, main tanks, this does not mean that you always should just go in and die. Yeah. Meaning the new Mercy Res is going to give tanks this overconfidence that, hey, actually, I should just go in and die. I think a good example is Reinhardt, who can get some more of those opening charges off a little more comfortably and get rezzed. But you don't really just want to be like, oh, I'll just Winston and dive in, burn my shield, the Mercy reses me, and then I try to leap out and I'm dead before I even get the leap. Like, there's going to be bad times for it. There's going to be overplay from tanks. So it's just kind of my little PSA here. I don't do this often, but just because Mercy can res you at second 1 of the match does not mean you need to die at second 2. That's all.
And she won't be able to res you. She'll die.
She'll die too.
If she goes in there, if you jumped in and she has to fly after you to res you, she'll die.
The new hot thing now, and it applies to main tanks especially, is like Diva. If Diva gets demeched a lot of the time, depending on where you're at in the fight, it's better she'll go out and take chip damage to die so that she can res and get her mech back, because generally it takes her longer than 30 seconds to get her mech back. So that is actually like a good play. Depending, of course, there's circumstances that make that not true. And it's semi-true for Roadhog as well. If Roadhog's low and he's already used his heal, it's best to just let him die and then bring him back so that he gets his heal back and everything like that. So it definitely is going to give people a weird feeling of like, it doesn't matter if I mess up, my mistakes can be erased.
And
Mercy, why did you res that other person? Why didn't you wait to res me?
Why did you get doomfist up? And then
I
people
can hear it now.
Oh yeah, you already know. And then people are going to get used to these quick reses. And I don't know. It's just going to create a whole new level of complaint and toxicity from your teammates. Yep. But I do agree that something back to what you said a long time ago, or a long time ago earlier in the episode, Hundo, was that it's going to really test the decision making of Mercy mains, and we're really going to find out your true mettle.
Yep.
So I don't know. Very excited. Does anyone have any final thoughts on the new Diva or Mercy changes before we move on?
Only that when there's a big ultimate and I'm not in it, that's when I really feel I can't go res them all.
Well, that's why your picture today for the stream is a teammate down ×5, because it's gone.
No more.
It's no mo.
Chain heal beats grav. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're not caught in the grav, chain heal beats grav every single time.
Really?
That's crazy. Yes, absolutely. Because it doesn't matter if people die in the grav, as long as it's not like a tire or something. Something's gonna kill everybody instantly.
Right. Yeah,
there's always a tire now.
There's always a tire.
Dude, lately it's all been tires. So.
Yeah, we've got Diva, Junkrat, Mercy.
Yeah, I'm getting really tired of it.
Widow, Junkrat, DPS forever. Love
Junkrat.
gosh, you're going to trigger Tank, so we should quickly move forward. All right, well, let's go ahead and head to...
So, wow, we got right past him here. This is amazing. We've never had in years. Years of cats.
That's right. For our tournament talk section, we're just going to give you guys a couple quick updates on some things going on in competitive and esports of Overwatch. And I guess, Contenders Season 1 is moving forward. We have September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th on the docket. And that is going to be our last little bit of the season that's left. And then we're going to head into the playoffs shortly after that. It's a pretty complicated, I guess if you look at the landscape in North America, it's fairly straightforward as to what it's going to look like for the playoffs. However, the European side of the bracket is a little bit more nutso. Just in respect of time, we're not going to spend as much time on this episode as we initially were planning. But I also think
I even educated myself.
I know,
and
that's why I kind of am like feeling. I know, Mel. I know I was like reading your mind. I was like, Mel, and like you're like giving me great things that we're gonna use, like in future. Like how you built this is how we're gonna do it from now on. So I really appreciate what you did. But I mean, you understand. We're already at an hour and a half. We're gonna get it burned through it. But it's also kind of a good segue for me to kind of shamelessly plug another show. So. Tomorrow with Totally Drunk and Spider, I'm recording episode 0 of our new podcast. It's called the Overwatch League Network, OWLN. We're trying to make it like an ESPN for Overwatch League Network, or Overwatch League coverage. And we're going to dive into a ton of Contenders talk about some Overwatch League news, and we're going to break down a lot of that. So kind of, I guess, since we're not covering it very in-depth today on the Cavalry, go out there, search for us. We're at OWLN Show on Twitter, and you're going to get all of our updates for episode 0 and beyond. So I'm super excited to work on that project with some awesome Overwatch esports fans like Totem and Spider, and we will be breaking down Contenders ad nauseum, tomorrow. So we'll just kind of leave it at that. Apex season.
Air horns.
Air horns? Oh, 5 air horns? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 5 air horns. So, I guess before I kind of just jump quickly to my next little Apex update, Hundo, do you watch a lot of Overwatch esports, or and you really wouldn't be in the minority if you don't? I'm just asking.
No, I do. Whenever I can, definitely. Like, I have a lot of downtime at work in between clients, so like I'm always watching it if I can. If I'm just chilling at the house, like I'll just put it on like you would football, put it on your TV, make something to eat, and just kind of chill out and watch it, man. It's good stuff.
Great. Awesome.
I don't think enough people really give it a chance, honestly.
Yeah, and then we'll definitely talk about getting you on as a guest for that show, because what we're going to do on that show is just focus on esports and the Overwatch League coverage. Where here, it's more news, updates, more general stuff. So different kind of vibe between the two shows.
Banter.
So, yeah. Humor. We attempt humor. People say, what makes your Overwatch podcast different? I'm like, I think we try to be funnier more than we try to read Overwatch news, but I don't really know if that's a good or bad thing.
Do you like quick play?
Again, we are the quick play of Overwatch podcast. No question about it. And then Apex Season 4 is also moving on. The playoffs, I mean, there was a bit of a mix-up, so I don't want to spend too much time here, but I do want to tell you guys that, geez, I'm like dying today. I've been teaching all day, so my voice is running out. I'm dying here. I'm dying up here. Lunatic High. You guys remember that name, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right now in the standings, they're last place for the group stage 2. It's kind of like the group stage right before the playoffs. Only 8 teams go to this group stage, and the top 4 teams will move on to the playoffs. Well, again, after the first kind of round of play, they're 0-3. They did not win a map. So Lunatic High is in a bad position to even try to make it to the playoffs this year, which is a total, flip on its head from where we were last year.
Yep.
I think the meta's changed a lot, though.
You're right, and these rosters have changed quite a bit too. Some of the talent is kind of ramping up for Overwatch League. So, there was a lot of change for Apex Season 4, and we expected some parity, but to see, again, GC Busan and NC Foxes are right now in the top of their respective groups, it's just, what? You know, we're so used
They're
to
going nuts.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean it's great. You know, we like in the NFL, I like parity. I like it when the worst teams, quote unquote, from last year are the best team next year. That's called parity. It's like, you know, by definition, that's what makes the NFL so fun. Is, you know, unless you're the Browns fan, and sorry, Steven, that, you know, there's
Someday.
there's an opportunity. No, actually, I think the Cleveland Browns will be good this year, but we won't talk football. But Apex has again had some shakeup, and you know, and that kind of leads me into this next thing, right? And we'll pause here to talk about this for a second before I kind of go on. But 2 more teams have disbanded. One of those being Rock's Orcas. They did compete in Apex Season 4, but they did not move on. And then that organization dropped its roster. And in that roster was Geguri, that Zarya player from Korea that we've talked about so many times, and we're going to talk about next episode. But it was kind of bummer to see her organization disbanded, and also Team Liquid dropped their roster as well. They're not going to be participating in Overwatch League Season 1. So, you know, it's a bit sad, right?
There's a lot of talent, and like, you know, $20 million is not a small buy-in. So
No.
if these companies don't feel like you're gonna win and they're gonna do their research, they're gonna disband you. So I mean, like, and that's what we want. We don't want these subpar teams coming in, because this is really gonna be a time for Overwatch to grow, and no one wants to watch a blowout every single game. That is not fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think,
That's
go ahead, Tank.
that's not entirely true. I've been following the Browns for years.
He loves
And,
blowouts, apparently.
I'm used to it at this point. So
Okay.
I don't know if you can necessarily say that I enjoy it. More so, I accept it.
Okay.
I don't know, though. I feel like it's worse being a Chiefs fan, where they just, like, keep you in it just long enough to just, like,
Fail at
crash
the
and
end.
burn.
Yeah.
I only have one quick thing to say about that. I have to say it because it's been driving me nuts all week. ESPN is claiming that that's the best team in NFL, and that just
Yeah.
crushed my hopes and dreams, because anytime someone says something like that, it implodes.
It implodes. We can't be number one in the
Except for
power
us.
rankings, right? Yeah, it's all gonna go. Oh my God! I'll tell you what. I get it. I get you, Steven. That's allowed. It's allotted. You're right. You know, that's how it's gonna happen. But more importantly, it is. You know, I think it's kind of cool to think that how close the Overwatch League really is. And even though some of these teams like Rock's Orcas and Team Liquid aren't going to be at the show, we now know what the show looks like. So there was a huge news article drop that came, and that is we have our official count. We have 12 teams that are going to be heading in to the Overwatch League Season 1. We're going to have an exhibition, kind of a pre-season, December 6th, like a bunch of show matches to kind of show the teams and kind of explain the format, I guess. And then the actual season is going to start January 10th. And again, we have our official 12 teams. Some of our new teams that we want to bring up is that Dallas is officially the spot for NVS. There's an organization known as Optic Gaming, based out of, that will be the Houston spot. And that is going to pretty much round us out at our 12 teams. So we know, you know, who's where and what's who. And we got 12 teams. We've got dates. We've got freaking information, my
It's
friend.
real.
It's real.
It's coming.
Hey, did Houston change from Houston, Austin? Is it just Houston now?
I don't know if it's, I think they're going to be based out of Houston, but I think they'll still maintain that connection to Austin. And I know Philadelphia was that 12th city. Sorry, I didn't mention that. But I don't
Because
know.
weren't they initially a dual city?
I thought that
thing?
was very similar to in Florida. There's Hundo. What are those? There's the team. It's Miami, Tampa. Was that the two markets that are linked together?
I do believe so.
Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, I thought that was the plan. But right now it does just say Houston. So I guess we'll kind of see how that kind of pans out if they end up playing matches in Austin or if they at all tag Austin in anything. But to me, like literally the Overwatch League Network show that I just mentioned has been waiting for this to start. This is it. Okay, we can start. We have timelines. So it's super hype for me. Like there's no stopping this hype train. I know for me personally, like Overwatch League won't fail my expectations. It might not be the greatest esport ever. It might not get the viewership people expect. It might flop. It might be a mistake. But for me, I will be so excited. I will eat it up because I know I will. I just know it. So, Hundo, what do you got to say on that?
Man, they are pushing like new ground here, and you got to respect Blizzard and Activision. I mean, Activision's obviously bankrolling this, right? Let's not we don't have any delusions about that. But they are really trying to bring this into a mainstream and say, look, this is an organization. We want to make money off this organization, and we want it to be big. And I actually did want to comment a little bit about Apex Season 4 as well as Contenders. The build diversity for the teams has been amazing. Like, I literally was waiting for that patch to go through, and I was like, dude, they're just going to run Junkrat on every map. But they didn't. They only ran it on maps where you could actually do something with Junkrat. So we saw triple tank, we saw triple DPS, we saw single healer Sombra, we saw, like, all the good stuff. And it wasn't every team just running dive, triple DPS, and trying to kill Zenyatta. So I was really pleased, and I think that's where it needs to go if we actually want to acquire some viewership. We can't have mirror matches every game.
I think that's awesome.
I agree. I think,
it makes it way more exciting.
Did I say it on the show where I said I think we're headed towards a rock, paper, scissors meta more than we ever have before, where we're going to see overlapping. Like, oh, you did this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. I think we're finally going to get to see that, right. Where the last 3 seasons it's been dive, triple tank, as we've talked about. So I think this is the first time we're really going to see what Overwatch was made for in esports.
Right, like picking the counters, like coming out with something different and then changing.
I see it more competitive lately, Oh, they have a Junkrat. Do we have a Pharah player? Can someone play Pharah? Oh, they have a Pharah. Again,
oh, she got taken up by the tire. Bummer.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different can of worms. I'm mad at that still. But Tank, any last minute thoughts on any of this stuff I just ran through?
Nope.
He says,
I watched the 1-2-3 Misfits match.
Awesome, right?
And it was really bad.
No? Not amazing?
No, it was good. It was good. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Speaking of counter, you know what I noticed about Mercy? I don't know if anyone's noticed with Mercy, but Guardian Angel retains momentum now whenever you jump. And so you will jump into some terrible spot. You go really far. And so I've noticed just myself getting killed by good Widowmakers. So I think Widow is going to be an excellent answer to Mercy.
I got killed by Widow in the game before we started this. Literally 27 times it felt like.
Yep.
Every time I walked out, it was boop. And it didn't matter where I was. I'd be behind a wall. I don't know. She was behind me somehow.
This is super comforting to hear, because if this is the case, we might not see Mercy every game but we're going to see more Widows. Okay, it is worse. More Widows?
Right?
Oh.
Come on. Wouldn't you rather see Mercy?
Yeah.
I'm defeated now. I just realized as I was talking through that how bad I am.
I hate Widow.
I don't like one-shots. I'll say it.
Well,
me neither.
That needs to be a whole nother discussion. Gosh, but yeah, we don't like one-hit kills. Hanzo. Doomfist. Oh, what's going on? I'm sorry. I'm just Widow. Excuse me. I'm joking on myself. Yeah, God. Anyway. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's a pretty good breakdown of tournament talk, and we kind of burned through those topics. So, thank you guys for doing that. And with that, I think it's time for.
Ooh, this is going off. Ooh, can I get your autograph?
Yeah, we want your autograph. But Mel, I think this kind of came from your discovery, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Tank?
Yes. No, totally me. No,
I couldn't remember. I'm
it
sorry.
Was Tank.
It was we just had it in our calendar.
No, go on.
No, you know what, Tank? Just because I make a mistake, don't take it out on Mel. That was my fault. So, Tank.
I put it in the show notes.
Tank, you're the one that said it in Cap Chat. Tell me about it. Explain it to me. Sell me. Why do I care about this? And what is it?
Well, I think Mel knows more about this than I do, but I was playing with Not Rob and a couple other people. I know Steelio Beef was there, and I forgot the last person's name, and I feel bad now. But after we were done playing, there was just a conversation going on about ways to track your scores and how you do on certain maps in certain areas. And they referenced Overtrack. It's just a plugin that you download. It runs in the background. There's a few, I'm going to call them quirks to it, where after you're done, instead of leaving the game right away, it has you sit and lets the recorder actually see all of the stats at the end of the game, and it will compile all of those stats and, for lack of better terms, give you a fair ranking or better idea of how you do on certain maps with certain heroes.
It looked comprehensive. Like, I'd be honest, I didn't try it yet, but it looked like from the website and the way the reporting works, it's giving you so much more information than you have access to with any other tracker. Like, it's very different from Master Overwatch or Over.gg. It is not your standard, hey, what's your SR win loss? It does look at like time played per map, win loss per map. It showed positioning, like how many deaths and where they're spaced out on a visual graph. I barely dug into it, and I was like, oh, this has potential. But isn't it kind of just a comment back?
Shows the kill feed?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It had like the whole game kill feed, the entire order of where things took place, the events. And I guess it just sucks that we need a plugin or a third party to get this info. You know, I think we need an API from Blizzard. We need the stats. Maybe even it's only in competitive, or there's a checkbox to show stats or don't. I don't care, but I need something. And I know that the user experience will probably get there before the game will, sadly. But I don't know. I want stats. And this is a nice tool, though, so I'm glad you shared this, Tank.
Yeah, it's crazy, though. Like, you can go through it. You can look at the kill feed. You can look and see when the deaths were. You can see when a res happened. You can see on both teams, like, how close together the deaths were. It, like, breaks it down from, like, 0 minutes to whenever the match ended. Shows you when you got the first point, when you got the second point. Defend and attack. Like, it's crazy. And I think it's got a ton of good information on it. You do have to pay for it eventually. Like, you get to use it for free. I think there's like a 2-week trial. And then they say if you like it, you have to pay like a $5 a month or something.
But $5 a month isn't that bad for the amount that it does.
Oh, I agree.
Right. And we were just talking earlier, like Hundo was, about how important like stats would be to help you fine tune your decision making from a broader perspective. How much damage am I blocking per game? Way more than I should be. I need to be doing something else as Reinhardt. So Hundo, let's have you talk to that. What are your thoughts on a tool like this, and how would that help you as an Overwatch player?
I mean, from where I'm sitting, I didn't even know about this. I'm reading right now. This is invaluable. This is probably like one of the best things that I've seen, and I think $5 a month is pretty fair for it, honestly. But it and there's only like, they always say like whenever you improve, you start with broad strokes and then you get down to minor details. Once you get up into high masters, GM, top 500 level, the details that you're looking for are so microscopic, and you play so many matches that I could really see this being useful for myself. Like, I recently discovered that I do not need to play Zarya on Numbani streets anymore. I'm done doing it. I've done it too many times. And like, I literally caught myself getting on to someone the other day. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And then I thought, and I was like, I was doing this like a month ago. Like, so if I could see, hey man, whenever you pick Zarya in streets on Numbani, you get trashed, that might have made me make this decision a little bit sooner, which could have saved me some SR. Who knows?
That may be. But I think that alone is like a good reason for me to do it. I want to find out some of those things. And yeah, I think the applications are almost endless. Like, we were just talking about knowing damage done, deaths, kills, and last blows, and that would give us enough talking points, discussion, conversation with our teammates. If we had this comprehensive of a stat system to pull from, oh my God, I feel like it'd be so much better from an esports perspective too. We could sit and drill down, and like, no team this season has had more time on a capture point than Envious, or it just opens up the combo. So I'm,
right. It shows like character switches too. So it'll show like somebody played Diva, and then at 2 minutes they switched to Reinhardt, and then at 2 minutes and 30 seconds the Reaper on the other team switched to Soldier. Like, I think that information's invaluable too. Like, did you force them to switch characters, or did you win because they didn't switch?
Yeah.
Hey.
The applications, like just us brainstorming and thinking of ways to use it, and we've probably barely scratched the surface.
Absolutely. I think this is, and the game should have this built in.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, this should be a thing. And like they said, they don't like devoting resources to punishing people. They'd rather work on systems, and this is a prime example. This could have been a system they could have been working on while they were, trying to figure out that the guy that plays Torbjorn and cusses out his teammates probably shouldn't play competitive anymore.
It took him 2,000 freaking reports to go, it's probably not good for the game. It's probably not good. So, yeah, I guess.
Oh, man.
But all right. And, well, I'm going to check it out myself. No question. I have to check it out. So check out overtrack.gg. We'll have it in the show notes. And I'm definitely going to do my 2-week trial. So
Me too.
That was way too positive. We need some more negativity in our lives.
Here he comes. Oh, good.
Here
Another
goes Tank.
Junkrat main. This is going to go really well. Really? Really? Of course you're a Hanzo main.
You were lost in the music, Tank. It's time for you to rant.
What happened to my theme?
What do you got this week for us, buddy?
Oh,
Plead to us all. Tell the community what they need to hear.
Here it is. I'm going to level with you guys and girls.
Thank you.
It is almost never, no, not even almost, it is never a good idea for when a character that you play regularly undergoes massive changes. See, I'm trying to be angry here. It's really tough.
No, get angry, man. I agree with you.
It's never a good idea.
It's tough for you to be angry.
Right now.
Okay.
It's only tough right now because I don't want to be mean because I feel for the
Because
mercy
there's a
mains.
guest on here. Is that what you're trying to hide it?
No.
Stepdad won't yell
No,
at you.
he's fine. I'm not going to get grounded for being mean around him. That's not an issue. No, it's just, I don't know. It's really hard to.
Let it out, bro. You got to.
Think of your song. You have a responsibility for your song.
Okay. Don't be an asshole, all right?
There it is.
Just if you're gonna play these characters after their massive reworks, take the time to understand their abilities before going into comp to save you and all of your teammates SR. It is I want to cuss so bad. It's a jerk move to jump into comp for the first time without knowing what these abilities do. And you are inevitably setting yourself and your team up for failure for no other reason other than, well, you being an asshole.
That's why I haven't played Mercy. In
I know.
comp.
And I'm proud of you for that.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
Tank.
I want to comment on this real quick, Tank. That was well said. Very succinct for your usual plea. But this happened today where this guy picked Diva, and we played, and he literally types, "What the hell? They changed Diva?" I was like, how do you not know? Like, this is Masters. And so he immediately switched to Winston, and then typed, I swear, like, no joke, no hyperbole, asked 2 or 3 more times in chat, took the time to type, when did they change Diva? What did they change? I'm just like, how dare you?
You should log
How
out.
do you not know that? Like, even when my client says downloading patch, you go look for patch notes. It's that simple, right? Am I?
It even tells you in the launcher.
What I'm
It
saying.
shows the progress bar, and then it says, review the patch notes here. Like, how?
People don't read, Tank.
I should know that with my my chosen career. I should know that people don't read anything. But for something that you do as a hobby, how do you not see these things? Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just getting riled up right now thinking about it.
Do you know what the most frequent lie is, Tank?
What's that?
I have read and accept these terms and conditions.
She's
I believe that.
Yeah. Everybody
never
says
looked.
yes. Who reads
Hundo, what
that?
were you saying?
I never look at I agree to everything. I probably sold my soul like a couple times now.
Right?
At some point.
Dude, there's actually a documentary called Terms and Conditions that breaks this down. It's scary. So
I
I've
will
said
say
no
that-
a couple times, but sorry, go ahead.
I will say though that it's so funny. Like everyone, if you get on to somebody for this in comp, because you can tell they didn't take the time to learn it, they always say the same thing. Well, I can't learn it in quick play, so this is the only place I can learn it. It's like bull crap. Like, no, you definitely can, dude. Like, mechanics don't go bye-bye just because you're in quick play. You may not have an organized team structure, but that's even better. You need to understand the limitations of what your character can do without people backing you up and babysitting you. So there's really no excuse other than I want to play competitive and I want to play my character now, and I don't care about other people's time commitments, essentially.
Well said. And
Yeah, like I've played on my ult, but I do believe that I play at a gold level. Like, I practiced enough in quick play. I'm not worried about playing at the gold level on my ult.
Yeah, but the difference is you already understood Mercy mechanics and the positioning of a healer. So if you just took, hell, even like 3 quick play games to understand how the new abilities work, then there's no reason why you wouldn't jump into competitive with it, because you already had the healer experience, you get used to the new abilities, then you just move on.
That's all you're asking, right? You're not asking for them to put in 10 hours in quick play. Play a few games, get adjusted, right?
Just do it till you feel comfortable, though. Like, everybody's different. Everybody's going to take longer to get used to these changes or to learn the character. Like, just don't jump into it.
Right.
Well said.
Play team deathmatch. How about that?
I would like to play Mercy because I do enjoy playing Mercy when I have a good Pharah on my team or a good soldier. And I was in that situation yesterday where I would normally pick Mercy, but I know that I don't know those abilities well enough, so I just played Anna instead. Because it wouldn't... I'm not in the market to lose SR because of my selfishness. So...
Amen.
Yeah.
People don't... You'd be surprised how many people just don't care. I mean, like, you know, it's a video game. Like, you shouldn't be putting this much thought, but at the same time, you should have enough respect for people in your community not to crap all over their SR because you want to play Overwatch. I don't know, man.
Like, if you don't care, go to quick play.
Exactly. That I've said it 1,000 times.
Yeah. All right. You guys are killing it. I like this. There's a lot of positivity here. It ended up being, you know, and ultimately the message is just make sure you put the time in to be a little more comfortable before you blindly go in and cost someone a game. That's a very simple plea. I think that's very fair. There's nothing wrong with that. So
don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
And really, you don't have to think about it in the sense of costing the other players in your team SR. You can think about it in the sense that you don't want to lose SR.
Play nice, have fun.
And just by that logic alone, you save yourself SR and probably a really crappy time with a group of people who legitimately hate you.
Well, I mean, I think we're nailing it, guys. We're doing good. So, all right. Wow. I guess though, now that I look at it, I think that's pretty much wrapping us up for this episode. We kind of covered the patch notes as we went. We talked about the major hero changes. You know, there's a slight.
Can I bribe people to give us a review next week?
You know what? It's been a while since we've had a review. So Mel, before
I'm really sad.
Yeah, you do that, and then I'll tell us all about where we can be found, and we'll wrap this thing up. But let's hear it first. Give it to him, Mel.
I mean, I'm up for options. If you guys have ideas as to what you'd like to receive if you give us a review. No, I really we just want your feedback. We do. We want to know if we're doing well. We want to know what you guys like, what you don't like. That's all.
I'll carry you on my Smurf.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. If you give us a good review, he's done it for me before. I'm fairly certain. I don't know why you've kept me around, BigHundo, because I constantly hover between like 3,500 and 3,700, and I just never leave that zone. But you've kept me around.
It's a hard zone.
It's a tough zone, but you've kept me around. You've always been good to me. You've carried me through the hard times. So, you know, he will do it. He will help you out. He's an educator. He's an all-around nice guy. So before I guess we wrap up, let me just take this time to say thank you again to you, BigHundo. You've never really got a chance to do a podcast, but I think you should be doing more. And I think that this hopefully will give you some footage or some role to send to other shows so we can get your thoughts out there in the ether, because you're a great educator. You have a lot of good thoughts on the game, but it's a very healthy opinion, and really you just care about the game growing as a whole. So that's my nice little wrap up for you. We really appreciate you being here. We'll give you a chance at the end to tell people where they can find you. But
absolutely, I appreciate the opportunity as well. It was a lot of fun, and this is an opportunity I've been looking for, honestly, to get out and put my opinions out there in other places. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come on.
Thank you
We
for
love your
saying that.
opinions.
We do, and we
Thank
all
you.
subscribe to your YouTube channel, and we've
Thank you.
talked about your videos before, and I think you're a very nice, articulate way of putting things. You had a clickbait title, though. You got me last time. It worked. It was
I got
good.
you,
It was
dude.
good.
That's how you get them.
That's how you get them. So nice work on the last one. So couple of plugs here, and then we'll tell you guys where you can find us. Just a reminder that Slambo, myself, Tanksword, and Mel, I read my own name like I'm reading it. That's so bad. We'll be at BlizzCon 2017, and we will also be at Con Before the Storm. That's Thursday, November 2nd, the day before BlizzCon. I will be on the Overwatch panel with Watchpoint Radio and the Payload and Heroes Never Die, and it's just going to be a blast with Chanman from the overview. So come check us out on stage there. All the details are up on conbeforethestorm.com. Another reminder, The Cavalry Never Dies #3. It's October 7th at 6 p.m. Cast by me and Totally Drunk. It's a 2v2 team deathmatch tournament. So 20 kills to win. The signups are open. We need more teams. It's challenge.com/CNDTDM. We look forward to seeing you guys. As far as where you can find us, you can look for us on Twitter at The Cavalry Show. You can find us via a link of our Twitch and Twitter page, but you can also type in discord.me/thecavalry. That's discord.me/thecavalry. We're on facebook.com/The Cavalry Show. You can email us, thecavalryshow@outlook.com. Check out our live streams on twitch.tv/The Cavalry Show, Wednesdays at 7:30 Central, 5:30 Pacific, and 8:30 Eastern, because I was getting some prejudice for what time zone I picked, so I said them all. I don't want to hear it. You can also find us as part of the Zord Network at zordnetwork.com. Go check out Lords of the Storm. They start Wednesdays live at 9 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm. They're about 30 minutes into their show right now, but as soon as you're done here, go check them out. We love iTunes and Stitcher reviews, so keep them coming. You can find me at SlamboVerwatch, twitch.tv/Slambo, and at the Overcasters Tank. What about you?
Great introduction. You can find me on Discord. You can find me on Twitter at Tanksword. You can find me on Facebook and always in game. In-game is typically the best place to find me, or direct messages through any of the other outlets I listed. Mel, where can they find you?
Just be cautious about finding Tank in-game. I'm just going to throw that out there.
You had to throw
You
that
can
in.
find me at Mel Overwatch on Twitter. You can find me winning the 2v2 tournament with Gabius Christ.
Shout out to Gabe.
Oh,
I might enter. Who knows?
You got to do it now.
Oh,
can I
boy.
be on more than one team?
No. You're with Gabe. You can't be with Hundo.
I was just going to be with like 5 different people and then
No.
increase my odds, but
No.
whatever.
God, so many terrible jokes.
Good. PG, Tank. Hundo, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at BigHundoOW, and you can also find me on YouTube by searching BigHundo Overwatch. I actually don't have a custom URL yet, so make sure you follow, please.
Yeah, and guys,
need
just to make it easier for listeners, I put it in the show notes right below our opening discussion, a link that will go directly to his page.
There you go. Appreciate that, man.
Sorry to cut you off. I just want to make sure they knew it was an easy way to find you too. But yeah, make sure you type Big Hundo Overwatch to find him. And we're going to get him over 100 subscribers. So we're going to get him that custom URL. So get to it, Cavalry.
get it.
We need your help. Other than that, guys, that's going to wrap us up. I think Lucio's got to play us out, right? Luckily, Hundo's camera's not on, so he doesn't have to dance. But at the end of the episode, we dance.
I'm still
You can
dancing.
still dance.
Yeah, make sure you still
Still
dance.
dancing.
right, audio recording is clear. We're still on stream, but yeah, great episode, everybody.
Thanks, guys. I gotta take off. I appreciate it again. I'll be in contact soon.
Yeah, BigHundo.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
it was the longest
Thanks for
episode
coming.
ever, but thank you for coming, dude. Take it easy, buddy. Peace.
We all gotta hear
that's,
sometime.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Take it easy, guys.
Peace, bro.
Bye-bye.
Thanks
Thank you.
again.
No, our Not Rob episode I think was way longer.
It might have been, but that was great. I mean,
Oh,
I
I thought it was a good show.
it was a great episode.
no, it was awesome. I think the Not Rob episode felt longer because there was 20-minute gaps where none of us said a single word, and it was just the Not Rob
Dude,
monologues.
but I'll be honest with you.
And we
all
got scolded.
We needed that in our life because, I mean, he was bringing
Yes.
the logic. So, all right, guys, I'm
Yes.
going to go ahead and close down the stream. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Au revoir.
Bye, guys.